I just feel a little bit stressed out. I'm in a little bit of a hurry, and I feel like I'm rambling. Rosalie, shut up, move on. Hi everybody, my name is Rosalie, and welcome back to my channel, back to Chubby. Today is another weigh-in video. In fact, it is a Q&weigh video where I weigh in and then answer some of your questions. I'm in a little bit of a rush today because I actually forgot that this is what I was doing this week, and I filmed just sort of a straight, here's where I'm at, check-in, weigh-in video yesterday that was really short and sweet to the point, forgetting that I was going to do a Q&weigh this week. And then we had people coming in this weekend who were supposed to be here today but came into town a day early. Josh has taken them out of the house to a coffee shop, so I got about 30 minutes to try and get this video out. So I'm really not trying to not thoroughly answer your questions or to skip over questions. I'm just trying to work with what I got. So let's go ahead and do the weigh-in first and get that out of the way, and then we will go from there.
Hello. It's ready. £355.6.
Okay, so I lost a little over a pound this week. Normally I'd be thrilled with that, but that's basically just put me back where I was before I gained weight last week. So, cool. Let's just jump into the questions. One that's not really a question, but that several people have said, like, maybe you're eating too many calories. Maybe I am. I feel like I'm not as diligent as I was at the beginning, and I feel like I really need to re-examine that. And re-examine where we're at, maybe do a refeed for a while, which is another question, is have I considered a refeed? I have. So a refeed, if you're not familiar, is essentially where you lower your calories for a long time, your body readjusts to that, and so you stop losing weight. And so what you do is work your way back up slowly, stair-stepping to what would be your maintenance calories. Maintenance calories are how many calories you need to eat in a day to just maintain your weight, just stay where you're at. So based on all these calculators, like your BMR, your base metabolic rate, and your TDEE, or your total daily energy expenditure, how many calories should you theoretically need to eat per day to just stay there? So in a refeed, you work your way back up to that, let your body readjust to that, and hopefully level off, and then you lower your calories again and lose weight again. That's the idea. I have thought about doing it, but I feel a little bit of anxiety around it because I feel like what I'm doing now, when I feel like I'm doing okay and I'm just sort of very, very slowly going down, I feel like if I do a refeed, I'm gonna lose a lot of weight really fast and be really discouraged, but I have considered it. I might talk more about that specifically in another video, and if I'm going to, and what I feel like the ramifications might be, or what research I've done that shows it might work. Speaking of just sort of stalling, one of the questions I've gotten was, how is Josh doing on his weight loss, and is he still sharing that? He's not really thrilled with the whole like being on YouTube thing or like putting himself out on social media or anything like that. He is basically still, I mean, we're both still doing the meal prepping and stuff. However, he is also going out to lunch with his coworkers and eating lunch at work and getting breakfast and stuff sometimes. So while I've been going down really slowly, he gained about 16 pounds back. So of the 40 pounds he lost, he's gone back up a little bit, and then he's maintained that for several months. So he's pretty much balanced right around 315. I feel like I could do a whole video just talking about the problem of trying to lose weight when there's two people, or more than one person. I'm sure a lot of you who have spouses or significant others or partners or children or families know what I'm talking about. It's a lot harder when you're one person doing something by yourself surrounded by other people than it is to do it when you're just one person by yourself. It's something I could probably do a whole video on, but it's also something I feel like I want to approach very carefully because you can't blame someone else for your own choices. And it's not anybody else's fault when I make bad choices or go along with what someone else wants. So I don't want to make a video sounding like I'm just blaming Josh for everything or for me having a hard time, because that's not the case. but it is an issue. So maybe I'll talk about that more down the road too. Well, if nothing else, if I don't answer these questions, I've got video ideas for later. That last question sort of rolled into this next question, which is, does letting go and having fun sort of equal overeating for me? Because I posted that on a video where I was talking about not weighing in because I wanted to just let go for that week and not worry about it, or that weekend. And in some ways, yeah, kinda. Yes, it does. I mean, I don't know many overweight people who don't equate eating and eating a lot and eating bad things with having fun or relaxing or making themselves feel better in some way. And I'm not saying it's a healthy thing, but it wasn't that I was like, I'm just gonna eat all the things this weekend. It was more like, I will let myself have a piece of cake. I will let myself have wine. I will let myself just eat whatever they're serving at dinner and not try and finagle the rest of my day and the rest of my weekend to match what they've done, and try and fit it into what I need to do. It's like, I'm just gonna have dinner that they give me, and then the next day when I go out to brunch with my friend, I'm just gonna get something on the menu that sounds good instead of trying to sit there for 20 minutes and plug everything into MyFitnessPal, and then after I determine what the nutritional information might or might not be for each of them, then making a decision. I just got some brunch and it was pretty good. So, I mean, it wasn't necessarily like purposely overeating, it was just eating, if that makes sense. One question that I've gotten a couple times is, have I ever thought about getting an Instant Pot because it would make cooking things a lot faster and a lot easier? I'll be honest, I've never even seen one. I don't know anything about them or what it does or what makes it instant or why it's different than any other type of cooking, and I haven't looked into it just because I have been really short on time. But I might consider looking into that, so thank you guys for suggesting it. Another question that I've gotten multiple times was, how do I stay so consistent with meal prep, especially when I am busy all the time? I think part of the reason I like to stick with meal prep so much is because I am busy a lot of the time. So when I've got a few hours on the weekend, I will use that time, get ready for the rest of the week. For example, if you follow me on Snapchat, then you probably saw the other day I was walking to my car from work at like 8 o'clock at night. That's just what happens. Some days I am stuck at work from 7:30 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night or later, depending on what I need to do or what needs to happen. I've got one full-time job on top of teaching 2 college classes and being on several committees, and also doing my own editing work on the side, and then doing the YouTube channel, and then also starting a second YouTube channel, which is kind of fallen on the wayside right now because I got to focus on this YouTube channel and the teaching and the committees and the other job. And so sometimes it just helps me out to not have to worry about what I'm going to have when I get home. So I feel like a few hours of work on the weekend makes the rest of my week easier. I know I can just get home, pop something in the microwave, and go from there. Also, when I first started this channel, I hated cooking. And right now, I don't hate cooking. I hate cleaning up after cooking, and I hate cleaning up in order to get ready for cooking because I didn't bother to clean up after I cooked last time because I hate cleaning up. But while I'm cooking now, I just sort of focus on it as, this is all I can do right now. I can't work on that other stuff. I'm just going to focus on this. And it gives me sort of it's almost a little bit meditative now. It's sort of a mindful time for me to just do the cooking, just focus on the cooking, and then worry about what I have to worry about when I'm not doing that. So it almost gives me an excuse to just zone out for a little bit. While initially I just saw it as a big hassle, now I just see it as me doing myself a favor in the future and also giving myself permission to just not do anything else for a few hours. Also, and the truth is, sometimes I'm not consistent with meal prep. Sometimes there's weekends where I just can't get to it, or where I don't have time to make the shopping list, or I don't have time to go do the grocery shopping. And I'm just gonna have to try and make the best choices I can throughout the week and use what I have here, which means I'm gonna have to spend time cooking here, or just give in and get some kind of food or go to a restaurant, which I've done multiple times. I'm not gonna try and deny that. Sometimes I don't make good choices. But if I do the meal prep, I'm more likely to make good choices. So I feel like the way I try and view it is all it can do is help me. And that makes it a little bit easier to stick to. Another question is mashed cauliflower as filling as mashed potatoes? Some people asked last time. Nah, it's not. to be honest, I don't like it as much as mashed potatoes. And for me, it's not necessarily even about being lower carb, it's about having less starch. That's a whole different thing we can go into in another video, but no, it's not as filling as mashed potatoes. Do I work out? For a long time I didn't, and I'm trying to now. But, for example, on Thursday, I was at work from 8 o'clock in the morning to 8 o'clock at night, working on stuff for a table that we were putting on yesterday for the National Day on Writing on campus. And so then yesterday, I had to be there at that table when I also needed to be doing other stuff, which meant that when I left that table and then met with a student and then answered some emails, I had to come home, catch up on other stuff, and then we had someone show up unexpectedly, so I still had to keep trying to get the house ready for them while they were already here, and sometimes I just don't have time. Especially the swimming class that I want to do is Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 o'clock. I just can't do that all the time. So, I mean, if I've got to be on campus at 9 o'clock, I can't go swimming from 8 to 9. And so I have been trying to do things when I can. So for example, instead of taking the elevator to the 3rd floor, I will take the stairs to the 3rd floor, which sucks in the building I work in. And I've tried parking a little bit farther away, or like the other night, I realized I did not park where I remembered parking. So I just basically went for a walk. And I mean, my day was over and I just had a few extra minutes to take a longer walk to my car than I usually would. And so that's what I did. Now, if I want to go to this local diner here on our cheat days, I walk to the diner instead. If I have time and I'm not running late already, I will walk to work, which is only about a mile or so. But overall, I've just been trying to fit it in where I can and doing some free weights, just like hand weights while I'm doing other stuff. So I'm trying, but I'm falling into the same trap that I was in while I was in grad school, is that I just don't have time and I keep overextending myself on other stuff and letting that sort of fall to the wayside. And I know I'm doing it and I recognize that, but I have a problem not saying no to things and not volunteering for things, and I need to stop. Moving on. What is one major change that I've noticed after losing so much weight? Probably my willingness to do things. So for example, it used to be like, if I need to go to a store and I can't find a parking place that's close, and it means I'm gonna have to walk, I'm probably just not gonna go to the store right now. I'll go at another time. I'll just go home. Or if I'm gonna have to walk through a store to get something, maybe I don't need that thing. Or if I've got to park somewhere far to walk to an event that I want to go to, I maybe don't need to go to that event. Well, now I'm more willing to be like, there's no parking, that's fine, we'll just park over here. There's no parking here, that's fine, we'll just park a couple blocks away and walk. Or, you know what, let's just walk. We don't even need to drive. I'm just more willing to be like, okay, let's go do this thing. Let me move myself more. I'm fine with that. Sometimes I almost want to do it more. Sometimes, like today, it's very nice. I'd like to just go for a walk. And that never would have happened a few months ago. That would have sounded bleeping awful to me. So now, I just feel like I have a lot more energy and a lot more willingness to move and to do things and to try stuff and to go places. And I feel like that's good because it's helping me experience more things and be happier experiencing those things. But also, it's letting me experience more things, and then I want to experience more things, and then I overextend myself some more, and then I don't have time to do actual workout again. Next question. How do I stay motivated when I hit plateaus? I just try and think of it as, at least I'm not going backwards. I am not going to go backwards. Even if I go up a pound or two, I'm not going to let that pound stay on me, and I am not going to go up again. I'm pretty much just at the point where I refuse to be bigger again. I don't want to lose the ability to walk more. I don't want to lose some of the lack of pain that I've been experiencing. I don't want to lose some of the confidence I've gotten back. So I just keep focusing on the things that I've already gotten so far and what more I could get and what I don't want to lose. And I think sometimes you just have to hit that point where you're like, I'm not going to. I'm just not. And I've been at the point sometimes before where like, yeah, I've gained some weight, but I've got other things going on, or I've gained some weight, but it's not the most important part of my life right now. And sometimes my weight is not the most important part of my life or my top priority, but I still keep it in my like top 3 list of priorities, if that makes sense. I just try and not let it be something that falls to the wayside to make room for something else. For once. Have I considered weight loss surgery? I have. I've gone as far as to go to the meetings, and I went with my husband and my mom, and we went to the hospital, and there were all these group meetings where they talked about the cost and what you could expect and what you had to do beforehand and what insurance would and wouldn't cover, how to talk to your insurance company about it, how to know if you actually qualify, what kind of therapy you were going to have to go through. And they brought in some people who had actually gone through the surgery to talk about what the experience was like and what you could expect and to show their progress. And my parents even offered to help me pay for it if I decided that that's how I wanted to do it. And I decided, no, I'm going to do this myself. I can do it. I'm strong enough. I'm stubborn enough. I'm going to do it myself. And that was when I was at least, probably, if not more than 100 pounds less than I am now. And I had a lot more time and energy, and I was younger, so it would have been easier. And obviously that didn't happen. So I just decided for me it wasn't the right way to go. I decided that if I wanted to lose weight, I want to be able to say, I did this. I lost this weight. Now, it's sort of a weird, messed up thing to think that that's somehow like a badge of honor because you also put yourself in that position to begin with, but it is hard to lose that weight. And a lot of people don't realize that to do the surgery, there's a lot you've got to do anyway. You've got to go through months of counseling. You have to have a team of doctors sign off on it. You have to lose so much weight yourself and show that you've got a willingness to stick to things. Before you do the surgery, you've got to do weeks of just a liquid-only diet. There's a lot that goes into getting the surgery, and I'm not saying that that is somehow less or less impressive than losing the weight yourself. I'm just saying that at the time, that was my mindset. So, I mean, I've considered it off and on, but I've pretty much always just stuck to that. I got myself in this situation, I'll get myself out of it. And then the final question I've gotten multiple times, I feel like I could do a whole video on. So I'm going to give sort of a short answer right now, and I'll probably do a whole video on it later. But that's essentially, when I started this channel, how did I get people to follow me? And I will be honest, I expected by now, a year in, to have like 100, 150 followers. I thought that'd be pretty cool. And then something happened. And it was going from like, I got 1 or 2 followers a day for the first week or so to getting like 1,000 in a week, and I don't know what happened. And then it was sort of a big spike there for a while at the very beginning, and I don't know if it was people who wanted to like see if I would actually stick to it or see if I would fail, or if it was just because I tried to just be as honest as possible and not be stylized and not be gimmicky. I don't know if that was part of it, but I would also say another big thing I would look into that I've tried to do from the beginning is make sure when you upload a video, you have good keywords. So if people are trying to find a video about the thing you're talking about, they'll find your video. So if somebody wants to find a video about macros, and you're doing a video about macros, you need to have a keyword that tells YouTube that your video is about macros. If people can't find your video, they aren't going to see your video. I'd also say that you spend time at least reading comments, if not responding to them. For example, I read every comment I get, good and bad. I don't have time to respond to a lot of them because it'd almost be like, imagine you got like 300 text messages and trying to respond to each of them somewhat meaningfully is kind of hard, and it would take a while. At least read them and like listen to the feedback that people give you. If they need to know the answer to something, or if they have a question about something, or if they want to see this part of whatever you're trying to show, like if you're doing a weight loss journey and they want to know more about what macros are, if you keep talking about macros, maybe take the time to explain that. So like know what people need to see, or what they like and don't like seeing, and that's probably going to help. I would also say the biggest thing is to just be yourself. There are quite a few people who come on YouTube and they've got very stylized personalities that are sometimes a little bit too big and a little bit draining for me to watch or to get into. And if that's your authentic personality, that's fine. But otherwise, don't try and constantly just be on. Just be yourself. And if you watch some of my earliest videos, it's a little bit cringy because I'm just so like, hi everybody, my name is Rosalie. And it's just trying a little too hard. So speak clearly, look into the camera, not at yourself in the viewfinder, and just be yourself. I could probably do a whole video on this, on like tags and metadata and upload schedules and stuff, which I'm terrible about, but I know about. Anyway, I think I've got to go ahead and call it here so Josh can bring our guests home. If you guys have more questions for me, be sure to leave them in the comments down below. If you'd like to see my meal preps or my weigh-ins as I go forth in my journey, be sure to subscribe. And I hope wherever you guys are, you are safe and happy and healthy. Remember to just keep trying the best you can, and I will see you next week. Bye.